Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Analog Man Cave. Today, I'm doing an episode that's bound to cause me all kinds of shit and grief and flack from everybody in the world because I used the screaming lady and then the thumbnail. That's going to attract certain type of people. It's going to attract two types of people: one who like it and one who hate me. All right, but I figured I'd get some attention here because I think it's kind of an important topic. It's a sensitive issue. It's going to attract sensitive people on both sides of the table. So I figured I tried to deal with it in a sensitive way as best I can. All right, so let's sort of dive in here. It's dealing with sensible, overly sensitive people at the game table. I read a sentence in a book for GMs today. You can guess where it was from and who published it. It says something to the effect of any in-game topic or theme that makes a member of the gaming group feel unsafe must be avoided. To which I say, nope. What should be avoided is that type of person in your game. Trust me, with the proliferation of all these Critical Role style GMs out there, there's plenty of groups for these people to join. I'm not against having a diversity of types of players in your game. If that's what you want, go for it. Doesn't matter to me. No skin off my ass. And I'll take anybody in my game as long as they don't fall into the category of a bad player, as I described earlier. The thing that I'm against is we, as game masters, changing our games in any tiny little way due to player sensitivities. It's our damn game. It's our creation. We're the ones putting in the blood, sweat, and tears to make it a thing we're proud of. We're the ones who are blowing our entire weekends to create. In my case, probably I dropped like 30 or 40 hours worth of prep on shit my group never did, But that's why I do it, because I love it. I'm proud of it. I don't care that it wasn't a waste of time for me. It's my creation, okay? And I'm not going to let anybody change that. If we start catering to the needs of the most sensitive of the population of players, then we'll be running a game that we're not happy with. And if we're not happy with it, the players ultimately won't be happy with it either. It's going to just collapse eventually, and it'll have wasted time for everybody. I mean, think of this. Think of these maniac artist types, right? Whether it's in commerce or art or wherever the hell, science. I mean, would Steve Jobs have listened to anybody who told him to make the outer covering of the iPhone in red velvet? Would Da Vinci have listened to anyone who told him to paint the Mona Lisa with a scowl? You get my point here. This is a creative artistic endeavor that we're doing here. And I get that it's a group thing and we're all playing together, but not everybody fits every group. Not everybody fits every DM style. Not every DM fits every player style. And it's a match, all right? It's like dating. You got to figure out the right group for you. You got to figure out your tribe, okay? That's what it's all about. And that's how you're going to have a good game experience. Now, as for me, personally, X cards and surveys and a whole lot of fear and paranoia over not offending anyone and causing someone to be upset in your game due to like these fragile sensitivities. I know that's all the rage in these days with RPGs, but for me personally, they could kiss my ass. It's my game. If you don't like it, don't play. That's it. Go find a blanket to crawl under and watch My Little Pony reruns all damn day. My game is not the fantasy world you would like the real world to be. This is my fantasy world based very much on how the real world works. Therefore, there's going to be a lot of every sort of evil you can imagine in my game, and 17 different kinds that you can. Deal with it, all right? Just deal with it, or not. I don't care, all right? Just know that you won't be in my game, and the RPG is not for you. Honestly, I mean, think about this too. How the hell are you going to make it in the world? You can't even deal with these topics in a fantasy world. I mean, you got to grow up sometime. Now, I do know that some people, all right, and this is me being the other side of it here, okay? I'm not a full-blown prick, all right? I know a lot of you were screaming in rage like that lady, all right? But I know that a lot of people have real mental health issues, and some have had really bad experiences that traumatize them, and I'm very sympathetic to that. What I'm talking about here specifically are not those people. I'm talking about people who just can't handle reality because they've been coddled all their goddamn lives and just need to grow the fuck up, all right? But for those people who do have real issues that prevent them from being able to deal with certain topics, then you as a GM, you need to lay out for them what they're in for if they play in your game. Now, you can use those sensitivity sheets that are all everywhere you see on the online or whatever, for every RPG seems to have them, whatever. I think the latest edition of the Game That Shall Not Be Mentioned uses them too. Or you can just lay it all out in an email pre-game for all your players, individually or group, whatever you want to do. I know you're probably surprised to learn that I'm in favor of this based on how I started this whole rant here, but I really do believe that everyone should know what kind of game they're going to join. I don't want anybody to leave my game feeling bad when it could have been avoided by a few simple questions that would have let them know this wasn't a game for them in the first damn place, okay? Now, even after you vet someone, issues might pop up, right? If a sensitive topic comes up unexpectedly, if it's something they never considered or thought about before that just makes them uncomfortable now and not able to continue in the game unless you change it, you just have to ask them to leave. I mean, that's my advice. I would do it at least. Because again, it goes back to don't change your game for anybody. This is your artistic creation. Don't change it for anybody, okay? Now, as for how to vet your players, you can take the time to lay out every single element of your game that you think might offend or upset someone. You can use those sheets that lists everything that somebody might possibly be upset by. I think they run to like 872 pages long the last I checked. But I think it's just easier to describe the general style of the game that you're trying to run and say that you, as a GM, may have every element in that game that might possibly offend someone or get them upset, and is it still a game you want to play as a player, okay? No judgment if you say no, no big deal, it's just a mismatch. It's likely that you'll probably end up in a room full of Gen Xers, but so be it. Now, if you want to put it in a more conciliatory tone, you might just ask them to email you or text you stuff that might be in your game that might upset them, all right? Give them a list of things that are like, hey, is this here? Because if it is, I don't know if I can play. All right. I say email or text because for some reason people can't talk face to face about damn near anything anymore. So, and you could tell them in response, is it in your game or not? That might be the easiest thing. I've even heard of people doing it like anonymously in notes, in case that way nobody knows who has what trauma. I don't give a shit. Whatever works. As long as the information is shared between GM and potential player, whatever works for you guys. All right. Now, in no way, though, should you ever allow anyone to stop your game with an X card or any other nonsense like that. If you vetted them properly, if you did your job as a GM, these people would have been weeded out anyhow. But if they still pull that crap, the first time they do it and try to stop the game, just tell them this game is not for you, wait until they leave, and then just continue the game as if they never existed in it. All right? It's the easiest way. Just cut them out. All right? Now, in no way, this is important, in no way should the tone of this little mini rant here influence how you deal with people. You can be disgusted with somebody while still feeling pity for them and treating them with respect. Bottom line, just don't be a fucking dick. All right? You're all there to have fun. If the game is not a match for them, so be it. It's like a first date. You generally know if it's going to be a good thing, if you're going to click pretty fast, right? So if it's not going to be a good thing, you finish the coffee, you shake hands, and go home. And I say coffee because, by the way, you never go a full-out dinner on the first date anymore. Especially with this dating app spawned abomination they call the dating scene these days. It's just bullshit. It ain't worth it. But there's a little side advice there for everybody, men and women. Well, actually, more men. All right. So one other thing I guess that falls into this area is interplayer conflict. It may or may not spill over to inter-PC conflict. I've been a part of that before. I've been an instigator before. I am somewhat a tiny bit ashamed to say and amused to say at the same time. Sometimes people just don't like each other. Not everyone can get along. Try to figure out what's going on and just try to see if you can find a way to get to the root of the problem. See if you can get people to just get along. Like Rodney King said, can we all just get along? It might be a simple misunderstanding, but if it's not going to work out, then somebody has to go. Make that clear to the people fighting. All right, whoever it is. Maybe someone's going to bow out of the game and you're, save the trouble of figuring out who should be booted. But if neither one does, bow out, it's your job to kick somebody out of the game, all right, so the game can continue. It's not right that other people in the group should have to suffer through endless bullshit and fighting between players to the detriment of their fun. We're all here, them, you, everyone's there just to have a good time, kick back, relax, enjoy the night, and just have fun. So you shouldn't let people's fighting get in the way of that, okay? And I guess really the last topic that might fall in this area is the use of booze or recreational puffing things at the game table. I've done both quite liberally at times. Online, you might have seen some of the games I've played in here. Now, for me, that's just part of the game. Have a few drinks with your buddies while killing orcs. It's always been since college. I mean, that's what we did, right? For me, this game is for fun. It's for relaxation. You're here to blow off steam. It's like playing Doom back in the day, or Doom 2. You know what I mean? Or Quake. You're running around with a gun, have a shitty day at work. Boom, 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 blow shit up, right? Rocket launchers galore, Same thing with D&D sometimes that we're doing with your buddies and you're rolling dice instead of clicking buttons. That's all it is. Well, you might be clicking buttons if you're doing it on Roll20, but so be it. Imbibing beverages is often, but not always, just a part of my fun. I've also been known to have a few puffs during games too, and some edible things. Sometimes it helps with the creative juices, and sometimes I admit I've overdone it, and it took away from my own fun if I didn't pace it right. However, it took away from my own fun. I hope, and I implore everybody to keep in mind, your use of such things should not be allowed to take away from anybody else's fun. You're a drunken ass or just too stoned to play or whatever. That's not right. Okay, it's not right. If it gets to be a problem, then you as a GM, you're running a damn game. You need to step in and know that they can't do that shit anymore at the game table, before they get to the game table, whatever it is. Or they just need to set a limit, 3 drinks per game or 1 drink, whatever it is. You know what? You don't want to make it a fucking intervention or anything like that, right? But if you're all buddies and you see that so-and-so has a problem every damn week, you may want to do some sort of intervention. But, if it's just a bunch of semi-strangers and all that, just listen, dude, you're fucking up. You're messing the game up for everybody. Straighten your shit out. Don't do this at the game, and, it'll all be good. Set a limit, or tell them a limit's going to be set by you, or they're going to be kicked, And I hope it goes without saying, too, that the use of such things should be disclosed. If you're going to have that stuff, if you as a GM or other players, or if you're allowing it or open to it or whatever the hell, that should be disclosed at the beginning of the campaign, before you even start all the games, because some people do have very legitimate issues with that sort of thing, and they shouldn't be surprised if, everyone starts pounding beers and start pounding orc skulls, right? So, they shouldn't be taken by surprise. That would trigger all kinds of flashbacks from their, traumatized youth, and that's a real thing. I'm not making fun of that. I know a lot of people with that shit. So, anyway, that's my take on this sensitive topic. I know I didn't handle it as sensitively as other people did, but you listen to me because I'm fucking honest. I'm blunt. I speak my mind, and that's how I am. So, I hope I got across all my points I wanted to. If you guys have any questions, please put comments down there. And please comment. Please like and subscribe to this video if you did like the video. All right? Because it adds to YouTube's algorithm. It really spreads the word about it. Okay? So I'm really looking forward to growing the channel. And hopefully you guys are along for the ride here. I hope you're appreciating all this. I'm getting a lot of good comments from this GMing series. It's like, I think, the 8th in the series, and there's a lot more coming. So hope you guys are on board for the ride, and I know I am. All right, look forward to the next one. Every day at 1, guys, every day at 1 p.m. we're going to get a new video. All right, God help us. God help us all. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.